Mount Ararat at 4,630 meters altitude, Part 17. A question I've been asking myself since I discovered through Google Earth Noah's Ark is, what is this thing over a rock near to the ship's rear and above a pile of what appears as ship debris? It appears as twisted metal of some machine-type thing stuck over the rock surface. Machines on Noah's Ark. When one thinks of a machine, or what appears as a machine, the first thought would be of something made of metal components, with electronics, for some use, and powered by some energy. But a machine, though being of metal components, could be hand-powered, and still a machine. A machine on Noah's Ark would seem impossible unless the ship was built sometime around the 2nd century BC. The earliest known date of a machine built, the Antikythera mechanism, believed to be of the 2nd century BC. But Noah's Ark is much older, of thousands of years before the Antikythera mechanism, if this mechanism would to be of the 2nd century BC. I believe its origins are from the same time of Noah's Ark, and that's before 4000 BC. The Antikythera mechanism is a hand-powered machine made of gears and rotating teeth. Its use that of an analog hand-powered computer to predict astronomical positions and eclipses. It was found in a Greek shipwreck off the island of Antikythera and believed to date back to the 2nd century BC, the time of that shipwreck, but there is some discussion that the mechanism could be older, or if it were the Greeks to invent it. What this thing, stuck in a rock near the ship's rear, has in common with the Antikythera mechanism is that it too appears as a machine. It has numerous metal components, gears, probably rotating blades, teeth, and probably rails, as if it could be moved. While the Antikythera mechanism is around 30 centimeters high, this thing stuck in the rock is around 70 meters high. An Antikythera mechanism as big as a building. The technology appears similar. The purpose of this thing would be different. The Antikythera mechanism, compared to this thing, would have the Antikythera mechanism look like a child's toy. But from where of Noah's Ark this machine-type thing stuck in the rock came from? Not from the inside of the ship, from some opening in the hull, but from the top of the ship, over its roofs of the barge building. The thing is distanced too far from the ship to have it come from the inside of the ship, but even too distant from the ship to have it fall off from its roofs. This machine-type thing is distanced from the ship's rear of around 40 meters. Its height is of around 70 meters, its width of around 7 meters. And if this were to be its crane, the crane is 11 meters long. The machine's length of around 13 meters. Someone would probably be wondering, from what am I determining its length, height, and width? Because this thing was held over the ship's roof by a building. This building in the barge debris field. This structure is something like 25 meters high, and it was probably attached to the ship's hull on its outside. It has a protuberance near its top of 5 meters, and another one thicker and longer near its bottom of 7 meters. By the looks of it, it appears to have been holding onto something of massive size. Its width is that of the machine's width. Because of the machine's width being that same width of this building, that width of the machine that I measured is its width. and the machine appears to have empty spaces, as if something occupied those spaces, being those protuberances of that building in the barge to Breastfield. The presence of so many metal components for a machine that would appear as a crane and no other use would suggest that it was hand or foot powered. A simple machine, but to have it powered by hand or foot as that of pedals, and for the use of lifting enormous weights of tons, would have to be built with hundreds, if not thousands, of metal rotating blades and gears, with teeth to sustain the enormous weights. A simple but advanced type of crane, of at least 6,000 years old. Why would the ship be over 6,000 years, or that of the Great Flood before 4000 BC? Look at the ship's size, especially that barge building. Could that barge contain 10,000 animal pairs of species? Because if it did, then with 10,000 animal pairs of species, the whole of the continent of Asia was submerged. I will explain this in another episode.